Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about an important topic where every international student has been discussing and also feeling extremely nervous about. So this is the latest change of the skilled worker visa released by the UK government. Earlier this week, at the beginning of December 2023, once the news hit the outlet, there has been an outcry of international students and immigrant workers in the UK talking about what this new policy could have impact their life and their studies in the UK. As a former international student, I deeply hated this new policy because that means it's going to be even harder for us as an international student to find a proper job after our graduation to stay here in the UK. In this video, I'm here to calm you down and give you some deeper analysis of what you need to know about the latest change and how you can still utilize this latest policy to land a skilled worker visa job in the UK. So I'm going to talk about different things in this video. First, what is the latest change in the policy? Second, what do you need to know as an international student? And then third, even you're not meeting the minimum requirement for the salary, and if there's any leeway or flexibility, you can negotiate with a company so that you can still get onto the skilled worker visa without actually meeting the requirement. First, what the government has announced essentially is that they have decided to raise the minimum salary requirement for skilled worker visa application from 26,000 to 38,000, nearly 39,000 pounds, which is a huge 50% increase. And if you know, the median salary based in the UK is 30,000, right? If you're a graduate, specifically, if you work in London, then a lot of bigger companies like Big Four and some, banks, they actually offer 30 or 35,000, which is pretty much on the high end for a lot of starting salary, which means this is a huge impact for a lot of students, especially if you don't come from like traditional background, if you're not focusing on these, prestigious or competitive industries. My personal opinion is this policy is not really targeted at international students, but it's more targeted at those who want to bring their family using the family dependent visa route. And as an international student, there's a couple of things you need to understand as part of this new policy. First, when you are picking your career direction, you want to be very careful and selective. Generally speaking, based on our experience of helping hundreds of students in the UK, we have noticed that there are certain positions that just don't have any appetite for visa sponsorship. For instance, if you are applying to administrative, HR, design type of position, it's very hard to land visa sponsor position in the UK. And with this new policy, it means it's even harder for any students looking for this type of position to get a visa sponsored position. But that means in order to have a much higher chance of getting a skilled worker visa and also higher salary, you ideally want to be focusing on engineering, consulting, management consulting, finance, investment banking, tech industry, because these are the ones that tend to have much higher chance, and they even monopolize 70% of the skilled worker visa released to international students every single year. Second, the new policy also means you want to be even putting more effort in your job application process, because in this case, it's more competitive and it's harder to land high-paying job with good company that offer skilled worker visa. And we have seen students in the past where they focus 100% of their attention on their studies, because for Asian mindset, we always thought if you have a good grade, you go to good university, then guarantee you're going to have a good job. That is not the case in the UK. And typically, a lot of companies, they don't need you to have a first. You just need a 2-1 to apply to companies, and a lot of them started accepting students with 2-2 degree. And we have seen students with 2-2 degree that got into pretty prestigious company like NHS project management and a lot of graduate scheme with Big Four. First, if you need to attain a first, that's typically required for going into the academic route, like applying for PhD. But as long as you have a 2-1, that's good enough. And the rest of your effort and the time should be spent on getting good internship, upskilling yourself, and polishing well your whole application, preparing for interviews, preparing for assessment center, and doing networking, so that you understand more about the industry that you want to get into and you stand out as a candidate compared to hundreds and thousands of others. And the third thing in this video I want to talk about is are there any exemptions that can apply to you as a student? If you go back to the previous policy that was released in 2021, there are exemptions to still get skilled worker visa even though your salary is below the minimum required salary. And the good news is this policy is still in place and will not be changed for the new upcoming, salary increase. That means as long as you are qualified for one of the following, you can still earn 70% off the minimum required salary and you can still apply for skilled worker visa. And these are the exemptions that you want to pay attention to. First, you are below the age of 26, or second, you are currently on a student visa and you will be studying towards bachelor or above university degree, or you have been studying in the past 2 years. And the third one, if you will be studying and be in training towards a certain qualifications, for example, like ACA accounting, as part of a lot of graduate schemes offered by Big Four, then even if you earn less than £38,000, let's say if you're only earning £32,000 or £33,000, then you can still apply for skilled worker visa. If you satisfy any of the following, then congratulations, you can still apply to skilled worker visa even though your salary is below the minimum required salary. The last thing I also want to talk about to you is don't panic, guys, right? Because your goal is to focus on getting a job offer. And to be honest, this is going to be the first year or the first couple of months when the new policy is actually, executed. And a lot of companies, they can't just simply let go all of the recruitment effort they have put in place for the past, few months just to be able to satisfy and meet the, latest government policy, because a lot of them, they still recruit, hundreds of graduates. So that means from company side, they are likely to be pretty linear and generous as well. And there has been case in the past where one of our coaches on board, at that time, when she was applying to graduate scheme, she received an offer and the company offered her, lower salary than, the minimum required salary for skilled worker visa. But what she did was she negotiated with the company. So the company added, 2,000 to 3,000 to her salary, the standard salary. And eventually that is enough to get the skilled worker visa under the condition of not getting a salary raise for the next 3 years, which in the normal situation, you're going to get promoted and then get a salary increase in 2 to 3 years. But in this case, she has negotiated with the company that she will keep the salary the same and just increase the salary so that she can still apply to skilled worker visa. And this way, from long-term perspective for company, is still pretty cost-effective. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is there are creative ways that you can negotiate with a company to still be able to apply for skilled worker visa, because from company perspective, they don't want to lose a valuable candidate and they are willing to work out a way to make it still work between you and the company. So the goal for you is to get a job offer, deliver fantastic performance during your recruitment process so that you are so attracted to them and they don't want to lose you out just because of this policy. These are all the things I want to share with you guys with some insights and also insider information. And if you find this video useful, share with your friends who are also concerned about the latest policy, and I'll see you guys in the next video.